Hello, students, and welcome back to class. It sure has been an interesting ride getting into this online teaching. You're doing a great job. Keep sending me those homework assignments. They look great. The percentage problems that we'll look at on this video are all about commission. Commission is a good subject to study with percentages because commission and percentages go together so nicely. Before we work the commission problems, let's practice our percentages a little bit. How do you change a percent into a decimal? If I start with 15%, I know the decimal point is here. To change a percent into a decimal, we move the decimal point 2 spots to the left. 15% becomes 0.15. 4%, when I move the decimal point 2 spots, I have an open space for a 0 between the decimal point and the 4. 4% becomes 0.04. 6.2%, after moving the decimal point 2 spots, I again have room for a 0. 6.2% becomes 0.062. If I start with 13.9% and move the decimal point twice, my decimal is 0.139. 13.9% becomes 0.139. To go the other direction, if I start with a decimal of 0.18, to change it into a percentage, I would move the decimal point 2 spots, but to the right. 0.18 would become 18%. Now let's try an application problem concerning commission. You know, anytime I work a percentage problem, I like to start with my formula. Part is percent of total. Let me have you pause the video, read this problem through once, read it through twice, then start the video back up, and we'll see if we can work it together. All right, let's see how we do. A real estate agent sold a house for $214,000 last week. That $214,000, that's going to be my total. That's the total selling price of the house. If her commission is 1.5% of the selling price, 1.5%, that's certainly going to be my percentage. If her commission is 1.5% of the selling price, find the amount of her commission. How does commission work? When the real estate agent sells this house for a total of $214,000, the real estate agent gets to keep part of the sale price of the house. The part that the real estate agent keeps, that's the commission. Let's see if we can fill in our formula. Is equals of is times. A real estate agent sold a house for $214,000. That's the total selling price of the house. If her commission is 1.5% of the selling price, 1.5%, I know I should change 1.5% into a decimal. Is 0.015. 1.5% is 0.015. If her commission is 1.5% of the selling price, find the amount of her commission. The amount of the commission, that's the part of the total price of the selling price that the real estate agent gets to keep. All right, we can finish this problem now on a calculator. I need 0.015 times 214,000. 0.015 times 214,000. My calculator says $3,210. That's the commission that the real estate agent gets to keep. There's the way I want you to show your work when you do your homework. Fill out the formula, multiply to get the answer, and label your answer. Hey, look, we've been joined by Bruce. Bruce is 23 pounds of orange love. Now, this example is another problem about commission. But here's how it's different from the last one. In the last one, we were given the total and asked to find the part. In this one, they're going to ask us to find something a little bit different. Pause the video, read the problem very carefully, and then come on back and we'll work the problem together. All right, let's give this a try. A salesperson earned $1,560 for selling $13,000 worth of electronics. Let's stop there and think about what we just read. The salesperson sold $13,000. That's going to be my total. That's the total of all the sales. Now, in a commission problem, the salesperson gets to keep part of what they sell. Well, the salesperson is keeping $1,560. That's got to be the part. Let's start to fill in our formula. Is equals, of is times. A salesperson earned $1,560 for selling $13,000 worth of electronics equipment. The $13,000, that's the total of all sales. What part does the salesperson get to keep? Well, the salesperson is keeping $1,560. What's the final question? Find the commission rate. The word rate loosely means percentage. So when the problem says find the commission rate, what they're really saying is find the commission percentage. All right, well, we know how to solve equations like this. Our job is to get in by itself. The inverse of multiplication is division. We'll divide by 13,000. On my calculator, make sure that you type in the 1,560 first. It's 1,560 divided by 13,000. My calculator gives me 0.12. That's a decimal. I want a percent. So move the decimal point 2 spots to the right, and we'll call that 12%. When you work the problems, start with the formula, fill the formula out, and then solve the equation. Also, always label that answer. Bruce is greatly enjoying this lesson on percentages. If I could only get him to show his work properly. Here's one more commission problem. Now again, the first problem, we were trying to find the part. In problem number 2, we were looking for the rate or the percent. This time, well, pause the video, read the problem through twice, read carefully, and then start the video back up and we'll work this problem together. All right, let's try it. James earned $973.50 for selling farm supplies. His commission rate is 5.9%. Find the selling price of the supplies. All right, well, what do we know? 5.9%, certainly going to be my percentage. The amount that James earns or keeps is the part. It's part of what he sold. The final question, can you find the selling price? We're trying to find out how much he sold if he gets to keep $973.50. Let's fill in the formula. Is equals of is times. James earned $973.50. That's the part he gets to keep. $973.50 for selling farm supplies. His commission rate is 5.9%. Let's change that percentage into a decimal. That's 0.059. Final question, find the selling price of the supplies. We're looking for the total selling price if James gets to keep $973.50. Let's solve that equation. We need n by itself. The inverse of multiplication is division. On your calculator, make sure you type in the 973.5 first. Divide that by 0.059. And my calculator says $16,500. If James gets to keep $973.50, it's because he sold $16,500 worth of merchandise. All right, your turn. Go work some math problems. I'll see you later on today.